Good morning. I am DJ Fluffy Bunny, aka PFC Trendy Carter, and I have a special guest here in the studio. Can you please introduce yourself?
DJ Shipwreck, aka Major Leslie Shipp from Garrison.
Awesome. And ma'am, what is with this new stop move?
So as of yesterday, the Secretary of Defense published a new memorandum saying the stop move is now extended to 30 June. But don't be afraid because there are 8 exemptions and there are 3 exceptions, and we'll go over those.
Okay. And what are common exemptions to this policy?
So the common exemptions that we're seeing, I told you there are a total of 8, but we're mainly seeing 3. Those 3 being if you are currently in the PCS process, if you've already signed out of your losing unit and you're on your way to Italy, you can still keep moving. If you are TDY and your TDY ends during this, you can return to home station. And the last one is if you are retiring and or separating from the Army. And separation means ETS, chapters, and ADOS for those reserve soldiers out there.
And the exceptions, what are they based on?
So the 3 exceptions are the same that we have been seeing since this has begun. They are if you are considered mission essential at the next unit, if you are facing humanitarian reasons, that being right now we're seeing a lot of pregnancies either in the service member or in the spouses, and no flight dates quickly approaching. And then there are extreme hardships. This is those families that have been separated and now you are paying to mortgages and things like that, and or different reasons. Those are the ones we're seeing.
And who is Task Force PCS working with?
So Task Force PCS is made up of Garrison people coming out of the RM, coming out of DHR. So we have a lot of personnel people involved. And then you have, a person like myself who's a loggy just stuck in on this one. But we are working with the tenant units who are holding their own ETP boards to push up to the centralized Task Force PCS. And we work with the SRO and the tenant unit commanders and have a very fair process of called an ETP board to get people exceptions to these policies, then get out.
All right. And ma'am, how long will there be no movement?
So like I said, the stop move is currently in effect to 30 June of this year. Right now, we are looking and probably planning on the window starting to open around 1 July. We can't guarantee that as DROSs are constantly changing, and that's something that's happening at the Human Resource Command level, HRC, not at the unit level.
And what do people need to be prepared for if they have moves scheduled soon?
So if you are scheduled to move between now and 30 June, or if you're just in the 2002 cycle for PCS, be again expecting to have that DROS slide to the right, meaning it'll go further out. If you're expecting to report in July, you might now have a new report date of August or September. And also a big thing that you need to be prepared for is PCS leave being canceled and not happening. You will go from here to your gaining unit, sign in, and then work with that new chain of command on getting local leave in that area.
Okay, and what are tour extensions?
So if you are in good standing with your chain of command here and you are willing to stay in Italy for another year, you can do what's called a foreign service tour extension, and you would work that with your unit chain of command and your unit S1.
And can people still plan for the move given the circumstances?
Yes. So if you are currently on orders, have orders in hand, you can currently go to MPD, make sure those orders are processed, get amendments if your DROS has now changed. You can also go to transportation and book dates, tentative dates for your household good pickup. And you could also out-process at the CPF building. The one thing we say is make sure you're calling organizations to make appointments, because a lot of these agencies are teleworking right now. So you need to call ahead of time, make appointments, especially if you're clearing and have received an ETP to get out. But please remember, everything is subject to change. So if their hours are a certain way one day, they could change that next day. So please remember to be fluid and call ahead of time.
And on a more positive note, how is everybody holding up currently with the stop move process?
So the soldiers, civilians, and families that we've seen going through this PCS season We know, one, the summer surge and PCS season going on is just stressful in general, but then you add COVID-19 on top of it, and you have now hit a recipe for disaster. However, our families are truly showing the resiliency that we are built on with the Army. And right now, everybody we get out is extremely grateful, happy. It takes a minute, but they are giving us their patience and bearing with us as we get them through this hard time.
Awesome. And anything else you would like to add, ma'am?
Yes. If you feel that you're in this situation where you could get an exemption and or an exception to policy, please get with your unit chain of command to get them up to the ETP board process.
Awesome. And thank you so much for coming in, ma'am.
No, thank you. DJ Shipwreck out.